Hello class, my name is Joseph. We are going to talk about wildlife management at my college level for my undergraduate studies. I took geography classes and this introduced me with the national parks and game reserves in some parts of Kenya, such as Amboseli National Park, Tsavo, as well as Nairobi National Parks. As a geography teacher too, I organized many geographical trips for my students to visit places like national parks and game reserves, hot springs and geysers, amongst others. As a result of that, I developed a liking of wild animals like lions, giraffes, deers, elephants, hippos, hyenas, among others. At this time, we are going to define wildlife management. According to Carter 1999 and Sachet, defined wildlife management as the manipulation of wildlife populations and habitat to achieve a goal. Aldo defined game management as the art of making rent and produce sustained annual crops of wild game for recreational use. A number of reasons come into play as to why I chose to study wildlife management. For instance, it's a requirement with my course of study. Wild animals provide entertainment in circuses, zoos, and wildlife parks. They form a central attraction in international tourism, and they are key members of ecosystems on which human beings rely for vital services. Equally, wild animals can be seen as threatening to human beings. For instance, they can be sources of new human diseases like zoonotics, as well as damaged crops. There are a number of concerns about protecting species or populations of wild animals, ecosystems of which animals form a part, and protecting wild nature itself. Wild animals are not just left alone to live their own lives. In response to pressure on wild animals and their habitats, a nature and wildlife protection movement has grown over the last 2 centuries. Active management, where some species are controlled as part of policy to promote the success of other species. The idea of the purity, beauty, and spatial significance of wild places such as underpinning the foundation of the USA National Park System and eventually the USA Wilderness Act of 1964. Nature's yield as a valuable resource needed to be used wisely, and therefore it is our responsibility to preserve and maintain it for the future generations. That is sustainable use. If human interventions has damaged wild nature by, for example, pollution, then projects to restore nature is allowed, and wild places should be allowed to develop on their own with as little interference from humans as possible. Animal rights theorists such as the philosopher Tom Regan 1983 maintained that humans and certain other animals share critical similarities, such as being able to feel pain and having desires about their future. In addition, it is therefore not our right to take away the land and other resources that wild animals require to live natural lives. Aldo Rebol became the first USA professor of game management in 1933. In his published Essay Correction, a Sand Count Almanac, 1949, famously proposed the view that natural ecological communities or ecosystems have moral importance in them and must be preserved for this reason. In conclusion, we can say that the management and use of wild animals generates ethical disagreements, dilemmas in which human needs, preferences, and their interests, concern for individual animal welfare, and the value of biodiversity, ecosystems, and nature are part of the discussion. The way in which these different values are prioritized will determine policy. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time.